Hello, Tigers, and welcome to the latest edition of Adulting 101 presented by the LSU Alumni Association. This webinar will focus on job searching. Before I begin, I'd like to extend my congratulations to the 2020 LSU graduating class. You are now part of a lifelong bond with hundreds of thousands of LSU alumni across the world. Now let's begin. As I previously mentioned before, this is Adulting 101, and this webinar is focusing on job searching. My name is Dillon Harp. Briefly, a little information about myself. I grew up in Monroe, Louisiana. I graduated from LSU in 2013 with a degree in political science. I currently serve as a government relations specialist with the National Hemophilia Foundation, and I am based in Dallas, Texas. On this webinar, I'm going to talk about two of the avenues that I found most beneficial when it came to my own job search, and hopefully you will find these two helpful for you as well. The first we're going to talk about are job search engines. I'm sure, as you are probably well aware, there are hundreds and hundreds of job search platforms on the internet that are free for someone to sign up for and to create a profile. You can easily search for hundreds of thousands of jobs based off of keywords, phrases. You can also search for criteria such as location, salary, etc. The list that I created were compiled from the top 5 job search platforms in 2020. And I think probably the last thing that I would like to mention on this slide is the LSU Alumni Career Center. I know that they were a great resource to me when I was getting ready to graduate in 2013. And I know that they do a lot of great work over there, and the folks there would be happy to help you out as much as possible. Now, I just wanted to briefly touch on a couple of tips when using job search engines. It's important to remember when you're creating your profile on these platforms to make sure that you're filling out as much information as possible. Do not just fill out the information that is required and leave out the optional portion of the information. Remember, there are tons and tons of qualified applicants, and you would like to do whatever you can to set yourself apart from your peers that are applying. I would say second is to make sure that you have a current cover letter and resume uploaded to your profile. This is a good reminder, especially when you have just graduated, to fill in the end date on your education and to possibly add an end date for any jobs that you had while you were at LSU as well. I also think that on these job platforms, most of them will allow you to search for a certain job and then create an email alert for it. This email alert will then send you a daily reminder or a daily update of new jobs that become available based off of your search criteria. And then finally, this is always just a good thing to remember, is to always make sure that your profile on the various job search platforms and on your social media profiles are appropriate and professional. You would hate to miss out on a job or miss out on an opportunity due to an inappropriate photo or post on one of the various social media sites. The second avenue when it comes to job searching that I wanted to briefly touch on is networking. I think networking is an important part in anyone's professional career, whether you're beginning your career at the beginning, if you're at the middle of your professional career, or if you're towards the end of your professional career. Networking is not only important on, again, building that professional portfolio, but I think it's also important on your job searching as well. I listed out, I think, 3 of the main areas where networking specifically for job searching can be beneficial. The first is I would start with your professors. Let's be honest, the past couple of years, you've probably spent a lot of time with your professors. Your professors have a wealth of knowledge and connections, and I'm sure that they would be more than happy to help you out in any way that they could when it comes to job searching. Second off is I would think about your family friends. Think about some of your relatives, some of their friends. Think about some of your parents' friends. Think about the connections that they may have. That can be a great resource for you to use, and it's very simple. Lastly, think about your personal and your professional acquaintances. So this could be some of your friends that you made in high school, friends that you had while you were at LSU. Maybe you had a job while you were at college. Maybe you created some lifelong friends at your first job right after college. Always take note of these personal and professional acquaintances. Again, you never know where your two paths are going to cross again. A good rule of thumb that I like to go by is, again, in a non-COVID era, when I'm meeting someone face to face, I always like to get a business card from them. I will then go ahead and look that person up on LinkedIn, connect with them. I think now in kind of the virtual world that we're living in, you could always look at someone's email signature and look that person up on LinkedIn and then connect with them there. And I think, finally, I think a big question is, especially in the digital world that we're living in, the COVID world that we're living in, there's tons of people looking for jobs. So what if, you've been looking and maybe you've been applying to a bunch of jobs on various job search platforms, you've been reaching out to your contacts, and it just doesn't seem to be clicking. You don't seem to be getting a lot of callbacks or a lot of emails. And so, maybe you're feeling like you're a little stuck a little bit. And what should I do? In my opinion, I think a few things that you could do is consider rewriting your resume. Maybe your resume needs to be updated a little bit. Maybe there are some keywords or key phrases that you need to change or add in that will make your resume stand out to a future employer. And if you're doing this and you're kind of at a roadblock or at a standstill, there are many professional resume writing services as well that you could use that can help you along that process. Secondly, you should always be personalizing your cover letter for the specific job or industry that you are applying for. But again, if you're kind of at a standstill, maybe this is a good opportunity to go back and look at your cover letter again, and maybe it needs to be rewritten or tweaked a little bit. Third, I would say follow up with the recruiters, any employer that has previously reached out to you that you didn't hear back from, anyone in your professional network who you've reached out to that you would like to follow up with again. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And so sometimes it takes a follow-up email or a follow-up phone call to remind that person that you're still interested in a specific job, or you are interested in any available positions that may come up within their company. And I think finally, and probably the one that's been most impactful to me, is don't be afraid to be ambitious. Don't be afraid to put in a lot of the time in crafting your resume specifically, crafting your cover letter specifically, researching all the available jobs in your area, connecting with people virtually on LinkedIn, connecting with people virtually in other means, really going above and beyond to make yourself the most attractive candidate for a specific job. And then finally, I just wanted to say thank you again for watching this presentation. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope that you took something meaningful from it. Wrapping up, I would finally like to say, again, I thank you. I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I'd also like to thank the LSU Alumni Association for developing this excellent idea and for also giving me this platform. And finally, to all watching, good luck on your job searches. And as always, go Tigers.